Hi everyone, so today we have analysis of more polls that we've been getting. This time we have House districts from California, all the competitive races, all the ones to watch. So we have a slew of competitive races that I want to briefly discuss. I don't want to open a new window, but just a new tab. So there we go. Now if it's going to load, I would go back and there we go. So we have the 48th district, 49th district, and the 50th district. If we look at, first of all, the 10th congressional district, we have Josh Harder and Jeff Denham. Harder up 5 points in a new Berkeley IGS poll, which is this polling firm that did all of these. They all have a margin of error of 5%. Actually, no. Some of them have a margin of error of 4%, but overall this is very good news for the Democrat here, Josh Harder. Very good for him in this race. Looking at this new Berkeley IGS poll, it's looking really positive that he's going to go on and be the next congressperson from California. It is a toss-up, but I possibly would lean it slightly in the Democratic column. So if we go ahead and look at the RCP House map, if it's going to load, sometimes doesn't want to load, so okay, here we go. So if we go and look, there you see California 10th District, Harder up 5 points. So if I can find the Democratic California 10, doesn't really look like it really wants to cooperate. California 10. Okay, so that just takes me back to the homepage. But you get the idea that the Democrat is leading in the 10th district in California. In the 22nd, this is a district that Democrats think they have a shot in. Not so much. New Berkeley IGS poll has the Republican up 8 points on his Democratic challenger, Andrew Jans. It is likely GOP, so that's looking really positive for him to go on and be re-elected congressperson from California 25 or 22, something like that. If we look at the 25th district, let's see if it's loaded now. In the 25th district, California 25, there we go. Berkeley IGS, Hill, +4. Very good numbers for the Democrats there, considering that it is a toss-up district with a Republican incumbent, so that's something to note there. A New York Times poll that came out earlier this month had the Republican up 2 points, so it's looking really not the best. The Democrat could be in a better position, but Katie Hill looks like she's going to go on and oust the Republican incumbent Stephen Knight in this race. Very good numbers for the Democrat there. In this one, we have the 39th, Kim versus Kisneros, something like that. So if we go into, doesn't look like I can find it, but whatever. In the 39th, no incumbent. That could mean it could lean slightly in the Democratic favor, but a leaning GOP seat. The Democrat up 1 point, 49 to 48. That's very few undecided voters, so it's looking really good for Jill Kisneros. Not the best, but it's going to be an uphill battle for all these Democrats, but it looks like he could have the slight lean over here in the 39th congressional district. In the 45th, we have Mimi Walters versus Katie Porter. A new poll shows Katie Porter up 7 points on her Republican incumbent rival, Mimi Walters. It's looking really positive for her to go on and oust the incumbent. If we go and look at the 48th, we have the very unpopular incumbent, Dana Rohrabacher. They have both been tied in the last two polls. Harley Roda and Dana Rohrabacher both tied 45-45, 48-48. So it's looking really if an incumbent is tied in, if we look, in a race that wasn't even on the list of competitive races in 2016 and 2014, that's a bad sign for the GOP. If we go and look at the 49th, we have Diane Harkey versus Mike Levin. Mike Levin probably going to be the next congressperson from California 49, considering that he has a whopping 14-point lead on the Republican rival Diane Harkey. It's looking really positive for him to go on and be elected to his first term. This is the one that everyone's talking about, California 50. Very unpopular incumbent Duncan Hutter versus Amar Campa-Najjar. Progressives are rooting behind Campa-Najjar. And I don't know what happened there, but Berkeley IAS has a poll having Hunter up 2 points. And he's nearing that 50% mark. It could go either way, but you might give the slight lead to the unpopular incumbent Hunter at this point in time. It's looking overall in these House districts pretty good for the Democrats. Rasmussen reports, of course, going to put an approve of the president there, of course, and then President Trump's job approval actually disapprove +7. Democrats up 8 on the generic ballot. However, if I look at the 2018 Senate interactive map, we can see that Republicans, they could be rebounding after this whole Kavanaugh situation. Because the Democrats were saying like, oh, Kavanaugh, that excited the Republican base in that time. We saw North Dakota go from a toss-up to a tilting Republican to a leaning Republican. Now I'm making an interesting move and putting it in the likely Republican column. Now, this North Dakota Senate race, it's looking really positive for Kevin Cramer that Republicans are rebounding in North Dakota. They are rebounding in New Jersey. They are rebounding in states like Indiana, West Virginia, Tennessee. Tennessee's one to watch. There was a poll that shows Marsha Blackburn up 5 points on Democratic rival Phil Bredesen. They are up in Missouri. They definitely are up in Texas. Democrats are up in Arizona and Nevada. We don't have much new information on, but Florida, you could say that Bill Nelson is rising from where he was before, but not by as much as 7 points as one poll indicated. So overall, Republicans, they're doing better. They're at one of their high points. They are after this whole Kavanaugh situation. You know how Republicans were kind of getting themselves in a better position back in May, early June? This is a bit like that situation on a smaller level. Republicans, they are rebounding earlier this month, late last month. People were thinking, oh, Democrats, they could retake the Senate even. But now it's not looking too likely. Even if we look at all of these leaning seats, they could flip at any time. They're toss-ups. They're toss-ups that just are leaning towards one candidate. If we gave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there are 6 leaning seats right now. If we just split them half and half, 52-47, Democrats lose 1 seat. If we split the tilts half and half, I guess you could say that's almost half and half, but the likelies, you could say they're less inclined to go for either candidate, but if we just split the tilts and toss-ups down the middle, 53-47. This is how hard this Senate map is for Democrats right now. And that's not considering the fact that Republicans, they could win Montana. They could win Nevada. They could win Arizona. They could win in Missouri. They could win in Florida. they have some kind of a chance, a very small chance, but they have a chance, the Gary Johnson winning in New Mexico. They have a chance of winning in Ohio, in Pennsylvania, in Minnesota. Now, these last ones, very unlikely, but they have a chance, and that's my point, that this map is so hard for Democrats. If we just give the Republicans safely all these seats, that looks terrible for Democrats. Now, that's being quite generous to the Republicans. If we take back all the toss-ups, it could leave something that could be split half and half in one way or another. If, let's say, there's 11 toss-ups, even I'm being generous to the Democrats, you give 6 to the Democrats, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you give the rest to the Republicans, boom, they're at 50. They're at 51. They make a gain, 52. This map is so difficult for Democrats. Now, Republicans, they're not favored in New Jersey. They're not favored in West Virginia. They're not favored in Indiana. They're barely not favored in Missouri. They're not favored in Florida. However, this is probably one of the more plausible scenarios for a Democratic victory, but probably the most likely scenario. Republicans win on Texas. They probably will win in North Dakota. They probably will win in Tennessee with the new polling that we're seeing. That gives them at 50. They don't need to worry about Missouri or Florida or West Virginia or Indiana or Nevada or Arizona or Montana. This is why the map is so difficult for Democrats. So overall, Democrats do have a chance. There's no reason why they can't win in Tennessee. There's no reason why they can't win in Texas. You could make maybe some kind of weak argument that Heitkamp could hold on in North Dakota. But especially with Kavanaugh, it's really not looking likely. And this is probably going to be the Senate map in 2018. So thank you guys for watching this video. Comment down suggestions below, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.